Hello, today is Tuesday. Welcome to today's Bitcoin price predictions. Currently, we've just we got this downside move. Just for the past couple days, we've been just kind of consolidating. I was thinking if we're gonna see a closure below the Gaussian channel on the daily, which would then obviously institute that we would get more of a downside move, but we ended up bouncing right off the top side of this, which is great. Have bullish divergence on the daily, which I believe the blue 21 exponential moving average right there, that's normally the natural target for that, but that's already been hit, so that's kind of irrelevant. But one of my main setups that I've been looking at today was the 2-day volatility expansion, as you can see right here. So basically the setup is when the BBWP, the Bollinger Bands Width Percentile, which is a volatility indicator, is seen at extreme lows, which I would represent as like 15 to 10%. And we ended up being below 10% actually on, let me see, early April. And obviously we saw expansion from that, literally the closure right after, and then we saw the moving average drop below that, which would then institute a volatility expansion. Then if you cross-reference that with the stochastic momentum right there, it's the momentum is obviously pointing to the downside, but as soon as we got the moving average right there, over there, so far we've gotten about 11% move, and usually these setups end as soon as the stochastic crosses. So that being said, if we then cross-reference the 1-day daily stochastic, our target would be about 27,242, which right there, we would have, in the prediction for the next day, if we end up closing anywhere above that, then we should be seeing that cross, which then would institute that we probably keep on getting the momentum for the 2-day, which then anything below about, let's just say 30K, so 30,000 on Bitcoin, if we see a closure above that, that's when I'd institute that, we're going way far up, and we'll get into those targets later in this video. But as soon as we end up breaking about 30K, that's when this setup would be invalidated, and we've already gotten that downside move from that. Not only that, is there unconfirmed bullish divergence on the 2-day, which, yeah, our natural target would probably be like, I don't know, you could say 30K maybe, something around that. But if we are seeing, if we go back to the daily, a setup on the cluster algorithm. Pull up a cluster algorithm. So basically the setup is this. It's whenever the cluster algorithm gets below into this extreme low area, which I would constitute as about 30. So we did get that today, which is, obviously Tuesday, late Tuesday, early Wednesday. So we did get that under the 30, and we are seeing a green cross on that. Oh, I'm sorry, that's on my algorithms, but we are seeing the green cross on that. So if we end up closing anywhere above this, or basically from here and above, then that would then institute, if we pull up our back tests, cluster algorithm, this is it. So we have about a 73% probability of about an 11% move up. So if we then take that just from where we are on price right now, about 11%, that would put us, kind of well above range highs right there, which, that would be pretty good for price at that point. Our 2-day would be crossing, and that downside momentum would probably be just, would be gone from then. And then that would probably mean that we would probably be seeing some higher targets hit. Just further confirmation for that, if we go on the 4-hour, you can see I'm looking at the bronze cross, which is the green 9 exponential moving average and the yellow 55 exponential moving average. And just from these big candle closes, if we do end up just like either consolidating or even moving higher, as long as Bitcoin doesn't absolutely dump in the next maybe day or so, we would then get further confirmation of a move up if we then cross-reference the statistics. Let's go 4-hour bronze cross right here. So about 80% win rate on this, and standard deviation of 1.8. So that's more of a conservative, target that you could be thinking of for this. Or you could say, if it ends up working up to the mean, which would be a 2.83% move up. Of course, you could like front run this. It hasn't actually occurred yet, but it's most likely. I would say the probability is extremely high for it. So in the next couple closures, at least let's just say, take it from right here, if we get a 3% move up, then we would be up towards like 29 area, and at that point we'll keep on going up. So basically the picture that I'm trying to paint here is that I would think that this has probably been our pullback from here. If we end up breaking range lows, maybe by like say 27, if we get any closure below that, I'm assuming we'll probably move further towards these range lows from back here. Let's say that's probably likely. Also, just another thing, I'm just realizing this, but there's low volatility reads right here. You get a 9.92% right there. And of course, expansion towards the upside, so that's always great. But yeah, that should be very likely. And as soon as that occurs, just watch for that to happen. We would then think of maybe 9 to 18 hours from when that would take place, and that would probably be when we'd be peaking, regardless of the percent that it takes. And these are all really just leading up into our higher time frame analysis, which we just go to the weekly, 1 week chart. And let's just close out all that. Let's bring up the Gaussian channel, which has been an extremely good indicator of we can see pullbacks, expansions. Yeah, there's a bunch of things you can see from it. We've seen a very high correlation from a closure above the mean band. And then normally once we get that closure above the mean band, we end up working our way up to the top band and normally expanding past it. Once we get that closure, then we can start talking about, what will happen from there. But just because of what's been happening from here on out, we will, what we've talked about before, it's probably very likely that we will get a closure above this, the top of the band right here. So if that were to happen, we can then cross-reference the statistics for that. For the 1 week, of course, there's only been 3 iterations of this, but it's still I would say it's pretty obvious that it is a trend. So normally I want to see more like 6 or 7 iterations, but it's all right that we haven't gotten all of those. If we'll then just take the first standard deviation, which of course is a more conservative measurement of it, just say 30%. So 30% of price action on top of it is probably looking like 40K. And of course, this is, it's gonna take a while for this to happen. I would likely it's not like we're obviously just gonna jump up to and break the top band in just like a day or so. It could be working at this for maybe next week or so. Maybe I would probably be saying that. But even if we move up to the average, then we're looking probably about 46 Bitcoin, which would be insane for 46,000. At that point, we'd be returning to the second lower high on this, which I'll speak about that tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna be speaking about the macro, just my macro ideas for it. Then that will flood into those macro time frames, and that'll figure out just my main ideas for what will happen for the rest of this Bitcoin cycle. But yeah, so I would just be watching out for that big move up. Maybe just throw on the charts, look at the 4 hour, this bronze cross, of course, the 9 exponential moving average combined with the 55, and we see cross up. It's likely once that happens, the rest of these setups will start to play out. So thank you. That's about all for today.